the mother of all Islamists. Trump labels Muslim Brotherhood terrorists. Biggest global terror funders. Here's how deep the network runs.
Hello and welcome. You are watching NewsX Explained and I'm Megha Sharma. Today we are talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, what it called by its followers as the mother of global Islamism. Now, US President Donald Trump's administration has made good on its pledge to label 3 Middle Eastern branches of the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist organizations, imposing sanctions on them and their members. The Treasury and State Departments of United States announced the actions yesterday against the Lebanese, Jordanian and Egyptian chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood, which they said pose a risk to the United States and the American interests. The State Department designated the Lebanese branch a foreign terrorist organization, the most severe of the labels, which makes it a criminal offense to provide material support to the group. The Jordanian and Egyptian branches were listed by Treasury and as specially designated global terrorists for providing support to Hamas. This is what the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, had to say about the Muslim Brotherhood.
Ultimately, all radical Islamic movements in the world identify the West writ large, but the United States in particular, as the greatest evil on the earth. And every chance they have, the notion that somehow radical Islam would be comfortable with simply controlling some province in Iraq or Syria is just not borne out by history. Radical Islam has shown that their desire is not simply to occupy one part of the world and be happy with their own little caliphate. They want to expand. It's revolutionary in its nature. It seeks to expand and control more territories and more people. And radical Islam has designs openly on the West, on the United States, on Europe. We've seen that progress there as well. And they are prepared to conduct acts of terrorism. In the case of Iran, nation-state actions, assassinations, murders, you name it, whatever it takes for them to gain their influence and ultimately their domination of different cultures and societies.
The title Mother of Islamism is not just a nickname. It is a specific analytical term used by historians, intelligence agencies and even the group's own leaders to describe the Muslim Brotherhood's role as the foundational DNA of a modern political Islam. The Brotherhood is called the mother because almost every major Sunni Islamist movement today can trace its roots back to the Brotherhood's founding in 1928. But we will circle back to this a little later. Let's first discuss the origins of this movement. It was started in 1928 in Ismailia, Egypt by a young school teacher named Hassan al-Banna. He told his students that the Islamic world had lost its way, spiritually, politically and culturally. He argued that the answer to their colonial humiliation was not just Western secularism but a return to the fundamentals of faith. In that small room, the Society of the Muslim Brothers was born. Hassan al-Banna's vision was total. His famous slogan, Islam is the solution, wasn't just a religious sentiment, it was a political blueprint. He taught Islam was a complete system of life, meant to govern everything from the economy to the courtroom. By the 1940s, the Brotherhood had exploded in popularity, boasting over 500,000 members in Egypt alone. They built mosques, clinics and factories, creating a state within a state that provided the services the corrupt Egyptian monarchy could not. Between 1938 and 1940 or 1941, the Brotherhood formed an armed wing called the Secret Apparatus, also known as Special Apparatus. This group was a successor of the battalions established in late 1937. Its goal was to fight the British until their expulsion from Egypt, British collaborators as well as Zionists. In March 1948, the Secret Apparatus assassinated a respected judge for issuing a life sentence against a Muslim brother for attacking British soldiers. In late 1948, the Brotherhood was estimated to have 2,000 branches and 500,000 members or sympathizers. In November, following several bombings and alleged assassination attempts by the Brotherhood, the Egyptian government arrested 32 leaders of the Brotherhood's secret apparatus and banned the Brotherhood. The reaction to the dissolution was the assassination of Prime Minister Mahmoud al-Nokrashi Pasha on 28th of December by a young secret apparatus member. Al-Banna himself was killed on the 12th of February by the vengeful Nokrashi supporters. The movement's most radical transformation, however, happened in the shadows of an Egyptian prison in the 1950s and 1960s. As the Muslim Brotherhood's most influential ideologue framed jihad as a revolutionary struggle against jahiliyyah, which is ignorance of divine rule. He argued that un-Islamic states must be overthrown to establish God's sovereignty, inspiring later Islamist and jihadist movements. In fact, before ascending to the highest positions of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri belonged to the Muslim Brotherhood. The trajectories of these three extremist leaders highlighted the significant ideological overlap between today's most notorious violent Islamist groups, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and the worldwide Muslim Brotherhood movement. Muslim Brotherhood runs a huge hawala network now. Financial regulators and commercial banks who have been looking most closely at a vast network of investments in businesses, properties and charities across the Middle East, Southeast Asia and Europe confirmed this. Now this is important. In 1993, at a conference at the Marriott Hotel in Philadelphia, which was bugged by the FBI, senior Hamas operatives agreed to spread their financial operations into Europe and use humanitarian relief funds to advance Hamas's agenda. Over the last 30 years, this strategy has co-opted legitimate businesses and charities, many of them linked to the Muslim Brotherhood, of which Hamas is effectively the Palestinian wing. The Muslim Brotherhood also inspires ISIS. While the Brotherhood and ISIS have traded accusations amidst disagreements on tactics and strategy, elements within each group have found common ground and readily cooperate logistically in other ways. Here is one of the instances how the funding works. US authorities arrested Mohammed Jamal Khalifa in 1994 in connection with the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. That time, he was a senior Brotherhood leader. According to the US government, he later operated a charity in Philippines that allegedly funneled money and also laundered money for bin Laden. As of now, the Muslim Brotherhood's top figures include Salah Abdel Haq as its acting general guide, along with others like Helmi Al-Ghazar, who is the Secretary General, and Mahmoud Hussain in leadership roles within its global network. Among India-banned organizations, direct organizational links to the Muslim Brotherhood are limited, but ideological or historical association is often cited in these cases. Students Islamic Movement of India, banned in Indian agencies, have cited Brotherhood-influenced Islamist ideology. Another organization called the Popular Front of India is also banned. Authorities alleged ideological inspiration and overseas links to aligned networks. Another banned is obvious, which is Al-Qaeda, which, as discussed earlier, is influenced by thinkers like Sayyid Qutb, who is a Muslim Brotherhood ideologue but not organizationally part of the Brotherhood. India could consider placing restrictions on the Muslim Brotherhood as a preventive national security measure, particularly in light of the international concerns over its ideological influence and transnational reach. While the Brotherhood is not a single unified organization, some of its affiliates and offshoots have been linked by the governments to radicalization and extremist activity. A calibrated approach would allow India to monitor and curb potential ideological spillover without broadly targeting lawful religious or political expression, balancing security imperatives with constitutional safeguards.
The mother of all Islamists. Trump labels Muslim Brotherhood terrorists. Biggest global terror funders. Here's how deep the network runs.